Bright blessings, everyone. It's great to share this space with you again, or even if you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome to my channel. I'm Jasmine, Mystic at the Crossroads, and tonight's video we are going to talk about how to write and craft your own spell rituals. So if you're new to practicing magic, this video is especially for you. Now, we all know that there is an abundance of information available. If you go on Google, almost any occult store or library, you can find a spell book that will give you a ritual to do for pretty much almost any condition. Spell books are great, and the information that you find maybe on YouTube or on the internet can be very, very helpful. It's also taken all of the footwork. It tells you absolutely everything from what the spell is for to when it should be done, the ingredients that you're going to need, and the step-by-step instructions how to do it. And that's great. Most of the time, hopefully all of the time, any spell that you find is because it's something that someone else has done and they saw results from it, so they've decided to share with others and see if it will work. Not all spells work for everybody. What works for me may not work for you, and what works for you may not work for the next person, and vice versa. Now, before we get into how to write a spell and construct your ritual, let's talk a little bit about what is a spell. A spell is a series of words. It is a series of actions that is done with focusing energy to create a change to a situation. Whether you are trying to manifest something into coming into your life, or removing from your life, or changing the effects of something, but that's what a spell is. It is focused energy. Sometimes there are chants written, or specific words that are spoken over something, or not spoken, maybe spoken quietly in your head, but it is a focused, energetic ritual, okay, a set of things that you do to create a change. And when you cast a spell, you normally use certain tools to help aid you. Of course, magic is all about intention. So yes, essentially one could simply just think what they want into existence, but for a lot of us it's hard to get quiet and focus long enough and meditate and really hold what we want in the forefront of our mind. So when we do a spell, that is a dedicated space and time and tools specifically for this one particular condition, and utilizing these things do seem to make it a little bit easier. So now that we've kind of got a little gist of that, how do you write one? So let's say you've been practicing for a while. You've gone through spell books and you've seen rituals and recipes, and you maybe even got some from a spiritual advisor or your local occult store, and now you're like, hey, I want to write my own. I want to see if I can craft my own spell that will be successful. That's great. I feel that whether you find a spell online or in a book, or you write it yourself, again, it's all about intention, of course, but if you do take the time to craft your own spell, it's going to be fully charged with all of your energy, all of your emotions, really everything that you want. So I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm not saying that at all. However, you might just happen to find you connect with it a little bit more since you are the one that has crafted it, okay? So we are going to go down the 10 personal recommendations of my own of things that you should consider when you're preparing to create your own spell. Number one, the obvious is you have to have a goal in mind, an intention. What is the result that you are looking for? It's important to be very, very, very clear on the result that you want. If you're not clear, when you go to do your spell, you may get mixed results, or you may get no results at all. So it's very important to figure out what is the desired outcome, and be realistic. Take your time when you're really thinking about this, and look at everything from every avenue. And once you know, okay, this is exactly what I want, now it's time to figure out all the little steps around it to create it. Number two, now that you know what you want, what are you going to need for this spell? Are you going to need candles? Are you going to need herbs, oils? Are you going to need a Pop It or Mojo Bag? What exactly are the tools that you're going to need to help you? What are you going to be using to manifest? So is it going to be a candle magic spell, or is it going to be are you going to do maybe something, a ritual out by the water? You know, these are just kind of things to think about. What would be the necessary things that you need to purchase? Along with that are budgeting for your supplies. And again, once you know what it is you're going to need, then you can start thinking about where you're going to get them. Sorry, my foot was falling asleep. I always tell people you don't have to spend a lot of money on magical tools. You can find candles virtually almost everywhere. Herbs and things can be purchased at a local grocery store. Oils can be found relatively inexpensive. So you just want to know what your budget is, so you know where you're going to get your supplies. And oftentimes a lot of the stuff you already have at home. Number 3, how much time do you need for this ritual, for this spell? So what I mean by that, excuse me, I have some notes here. Are you going to have to do it in let's say there's a particular time that it's going to be most successful? Are you going to have that time available? So for example, if you're somebody who's very busy and you work a lot, or you work long hours or something like that, do you have time during the week to go and get the supplies that you need? Do you have time to actually do the ritual? You know, if you're someone that's never home and you work some crazy schedule or go to school some crazy hours, you know, it might be a little difficult. So it is important to think about, you want to do the spell, are you going to have the time to plan it out properly? Okay. Number 4, and this goes into still the same kind of figuring out the schedule. Is this spell something you're going to do over one night? Or are you going to do it over a course of several nights? 3 nights, 7 nights? So again, and that goes back to knowing what the goal is in mind, and then figuring out, well, how many days of energy would I need to put into this in order for it to be successful? Number 5, are you going to work with a particular moon phase? Is this spell going to have better results during a full moon, or new moon, or waxing moon, or waning moon? Is there a particular day of the week that is better? You know, money spells are best done on like a Thursday, or love spells are good to be done on a Friday. So you have to think about, are you going to be incorporating the moon phase day of the week, maybe even the time of the day? Maybe you want to pinpoint it down to, I'm going to do it during the full moon at 2:30, you know, in the morning, or whatever. I'm just giving an example. So that's something else to kind of do your homework and do your research to find out if the spell that you're trying to do would be more successful on a particular day or time. Let's see, what's my next one here? Number 6. Are you planning on calling upon the help of any spiritual guides, your ancestors, angels, deities, demons? Who are you going to be working with? Are you even going to call upon the help of anything other than just the elements and the universe and your higher self? Not all spells require working with spirits, and some things, I don't want to say they require, but some things may be a little more successful if you did. So it's important to decide, is that going to be needed? If so, are you comfortable doing that? Do you know what you're doing or who you're going to be calling upon? If you do decide to work with a deity or ancestor, are there offerings that are involved? Are there certain, and when I say offerings, are there certain things that you offer and you give to them out of gratitude for helping you? So that's another, you know, just another factor to take into consideration. Maybe if you do want to call upon a certain angel or guide or spirit to help you, maybe there's a particular day of the week that is the best day to channel their energy. So when you're thinking about, well, maybe I want to work with just throwing it out there, Saint Expedite, or maybe I want to work with Isis or Aphrodite. It's good to do a little homework and figure out when's the best time to kind of channel them so you can coordinate your ritual properly. Number 7, ritual baths and protection. I can't tell you how many people I talk to that say that they don't do any type of protection or grounding work or energy clearing or cleansing or anything like that. And if that's not part of your tradition or your culture, or you just don't believe in it, then that's fine. You can totally take this with a grain of salt. However, because magic is energy, because we are energy-based bodies and we pick up energy everywhere we go, of course, when you're going to do something to manifest or repel or whatever it is that you're doing, you want to be able to focus and channel just the energy for that particular thing. So, you know, if you had a bad day at work, you may not want to do a love spell because you're going to potentially transfer that negative energy from your day into the love spell. So what do? Maybe a cleansing bath, maybe some sort of cleansing ritual. If you are calling upon a particular spirit to help you, you may want to do some protection work around you. If you're new to practicing magic and you don't really know much about grounding, or you're a little apprehensive and you're a little nervous, then you should probably do some protection, casting a circle, cleansing your space with some sage, something to that effect. And you can Google, there's thousands of recipes, there's thousands of videos on YouTube on how to do this. So you can find something that really sits right and is easy and comfortable for you to do. The next thing is your setting. Is this ritual going to be indoors at home? Is it going to be outdoors in your yard? Are you going to have to do it in a bedroom because you have family that you maybe don't want them to know what you're doing or don't want to be disturbed? Or are you going to have the peace and comfort and privacy of being in your home by yourself? You know, if you have to do something that calls for a Friday night at 7 o'clock and you get off at 5, and then let's say you are having people coming over at 9, you know, you might be a little rushed. So it's important to figure out, where am I doing this? Do I have the space to do it? Do I have the time to do it? If you have to do it in your bedroom, will you be undisturbed? Are kids going to be banging at the door? Is the dog going to have to go out and be walked? Is the phone going to be ringing? You know, all of those things. So that's something to also take into consideration. In addition to that, your workings themselves, disposing of them. Are you, and again, this all goes back to how many days, you know, does your ritual have to be worked on? Are you going to leave your candles out to burn? Do you have to put them up, put them out and put them away and relight them? When you have to dispose of them, can you simply dispose of them where you live, or do they have to be taken away from the home or disposed in some particular manner? So that's another thing just to think about your setting, pretty much. Let's see, number 9, your physical health. Physical, mental, and emotional. It's best to do spells when you are level-headed, when you're clear, when you can think clearly. It's not really good to do a spell if you're terribly sick or under the weather, unless it's for health or healing, then that's understandable. But if you're tired, drained, lethargic, you know, upset, angry, anxious, and you're trying to do a spell for happiness or love or abundance or prosperity or anything like that, then you're not aligned with what you're trying to attract. That's not the energy that you want to put into your ritual. So you may want to, you know, hold off until you're feeling a little bit better, in good spirits. And understandably, everyone has situations going on. You may be doing this for that reason, because you're not feeling good, because things aren't going good in your life. And that's totally okay. But you just want to make sure you're doing it. You know, don't do it when you just got through cursing out the person that cut you off in traffic. And don't do it when you are, you know, upset about something that happened at work, or you got into a fight with your spouse. Bring yourself to a calm, centered place before you get ready to do your work. On the contrary, if your ritual is something that requires your emotions, requires maybe this is something that you do want to put anger in. Maybe this is for revenge, or maybe this is for you've been crossed and you really feel passionate, you want to get rid of this situation, then that's okay. But kind of tune in for a minute with yourself and figure out where your feelings are. Are you aligned with what it is you're trying to work with or trying to manifest? And if you aren't, is there a way that you can align yourself, or at least just come to a more calm state of mind and mental and emotional place? Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, number 10. To me, this is very important. I think it helps a lot, especially if you're new at practicing magic or this is your very first time writing a ritual. Document, document, document everything. Get yourself a journal. Get yourself one of these school books. Get yourself a little one of these. Get yourself a Post-it note. I don't care what it is. Get a pen and get something to write on. And this is why. People come to me a lot and they'll say they did a spell and it didn't work. And I'll ask them, well, what did you do? What did you use? When did you do it? They don't know. Oh, I think it might have been Thursday 2 weeks ago, and I used a blue can. This helps you to identify what's working and what is not working. If you do a spell and let's say it worked great, and 6 months later you want to redo it again, now you don't know what you did. You don't remember what you used. You don't know what day of the week it was, or the time of the day, or the moon phase. Now, if your memory is able to remember all that, kudos to you, but mine isn't. So now you're like, oh, great. I don't remember all the ingredients that I used. You'll have something to go back and reference to. Or maybe you did it and it didn't work. Now you need to go back and figure out, maybe what can I take out or what can I change? Maybe you realize that the spell you did it on a Tuesday and it would have been better on a Saturday, and you want to kind of change that, but you don't know because you don't have anything to refer back to. So find something, write it down, document it. It's also a great way to see your growth in your practice. You can see, how you started writing a spell and maybe it was a little amateur, and then a year from now you're writing these amazing rituals that all of them are manifesting, and before you know it, you're going to have this journal, this layout of your magical and spiritual practices to really kind of go back through and see where you're at, and maybe even share them. I mean, who knows, maybe you'll even write a spell book. I don't know, I'm just saying. But it is very important to keep notes. So I hope this information's been helpful. These are my 10 recommendations of things to consider when you are writing your first spell ritual, or any spell ritual, basically. So yeah, I would love to hear if you incorporate any of these in writing your spells. Please let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comment box below. I would also appreciate if you like this video. I'll never know if you don't hit the like button, okay? If you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I will talk to you soon, and you can always reach me on Facebook, Jasmine Aten, Mystic at the Crossroads, Instagram, or on my website at One Ritual Away. Talk to you all soon. Bye.